Good afternoon. My name is Joe Bandel and I am the last Rosicrucian. Today we're going to talk about Oak Advantage number 28. Who created existence? Now the next few posts are probably going to be revolving around this a similar idea here, in which I'm going to try to come right in this. I'm going to try to come out and say it, but I'm going to try to say it in several different ways. What happens is, especially in the new age, in the age that we're in right now, where root chakra energy or basic survival energies require being grounded in physical earth, what we're finding is anything that seeks to put us in our heads is a neo-cheater. It's the opposite way to go. Now, don't get me wrong here, because I'm talking about we should integrate our minds. We should integrate our higher functions with our physical lives. In other words, what I'm talking about is living completely and fully, living with our spiritual impulses intact, living completely with our creative mental forces intact, living completely with the full emotional response intact, but living in the now, living in the presence. And what we're doing is, instead of developing our soul and its powers to leave physical reality behind, what we're trying to do is develop the soul and its powers to live more effectively in this life, so that it will carry on into the next or whatever. Now, when you take a look at that question, who created existence? That's an example of trying to put things in your head, trying to throw it up into your head, because immediately you're going, well, okay, is it God, is supreme being, whatever. The idea is, and we'll be talking about God maybe in the next one of the next few methods or whatever, but I'll just say it right now. The whole concept of a first cause, a first being. If you think of God, you think of something beyond human comprehension. If it is beyond human comprehension, by definition, we can't get our heads around it. We can't get our minds around it. We can believe in it, but we don't have the ability to comprehend it. What we have the ability to do is to comprehend the nature of our universe. We can do that through personal experience and through science, through things like that. And as of today, as of now, science, cutting edge science, pretty much is agreed upon that our universe is fundamentally based upon electrical and magnetic laws of nature. that our universe is electric, that our souls are electric, and that we are multidimensional, whether we understand what that means or not. This is the key that we're looking at. Now, that means, what does that mean? Well, it means that there's a scientific basis that each chakra center, the 7 chakra centers, like the 7 notes on a musical keyboard or the 7 colors in a rainbow, are also represented by the 7 chakra centers in the human body and by the 7 possible rings around an atom. And each one of these completed electron rings creates, in its completeness, a Nobel gas. And that Nobel gas can create a astral body, a permanent non-physical, what we call non-physical, even though it's created out of the physicality of Nobel gas. It can do that. And that's what we've been talking about. That's in other words, there's a merging between spirituality, the soul, what the soul means, psychic phenomenon, things like this. How do we merge those things? Because the other thing that is becoming pretty obvious is that you cannot separate our physical world, which is the space-time world, from the time-space world, which is its inverse or its reciprocal. And I've mentioned that you talk about the horn torus, you talk about how a north magnetic field combines with a south magnetic field, which are both turning in opposite directions, like the yin-yang symbol, to create the physical structure of an atom. And you can consider the north magnetic field as the time-space universe. You can consider the south as the space-time universe, and that equator, the plane in the middle, in magnetics we call it the block wall, which is the neutral spot. That's where what we know of as physical reality, physical actuality, that's where we exist, for where we live, where we're focused the most, where the present moment is focused. You can see that disk, you can see like the rings of Saturn, the other planets, they have a disk at the equators, and the Earth has that to a degree, the moon has that to a degree, the sun has that to a degree, we have that to a degree. Each cell has these things because we're all basically based upon these electrical and magnetic unities that vibrate back and forth and back and forth. And I've got to get back to the main point of this. Who created existence? It doesn't matter who created existence, because It's there. And if we get caught up in how many angels can fit on the head of a pin, what we're doing is taking our energy, taking the sum, the focus of what we are, and we're putting it up here where it doesn't do anything. The goal, if you're looking for empowerment, the goal is to take your spiritual force, your mental force, your emotional force, your etheric force, and to focus it in the here and now. In other words, to act. Our empowerment, the highest empowerment, is to act. And the neo-cheaters, the people who preach about they get you thinking about all these things, they try to put you in the head. What they're doing effectively is preventing you from acting. They're preventing you from physically acting to better your position in life. They would rather have you arguing over a cup of coffee at a cafe than out actively doing something to make your life better. Because if you're sitting there arguing politics or arguing the war in Ukraine or arguing about the vaccine question, you're not doing anything about it. You're safely up here. And that's where the powers that be, that's where the neo-cheaters want to keep you. Keep you up here so you're not acting, so you're not physically stabilizing and empowering your physical position. That's the whole goal, the whole purpose, the whole thing there. So it's like sleight of hand. It's the greatest magic trick that is older than the hills. Put your attention over there so that over here you're not aware of what's going on over here. Boy, I apologize for the bright sunlight on the video here. I'll try to watch that more on the next videos. But anyway, I'm really trying, the main point of this video is really to say the goal is to focus our attention where the empowerment is. The empowerment is at the root chakra level. The empowerment is at the etheric and the physical levels where you're actually doing things with your physical bodies. You're doing things to better your life. You're doing things to develop the powers of your soul. You're doing things to become more empowered in the present moment, in the now. And you're not giving your power away to external authorities. You're following your dream. You're following that internal authority. This is really what the question is. The idea of who created existence has no meaning. It has no meaning because what is. Things are the way they are. And the reality is, if we're stuck in a coffee shop arguing politics or arguing existence, we're not living existence. We're not living. And that's where the powers that be want to put you, And ultimately that's the goal. That's what the neo-cheaters are going to do. And some of the next posts, we're going to talk more about just how that happens. I'm going to close this right now because this sunlight is really kind of bugging me. Even though I love that the sun is finally coming back, doesn't make for a good video. So, till next time, take care.